Welcome back to my little channel. Kate Smurthwaite once again praised us with one of her gems of wisdom. And I know, I shouldn't keep going for low-hanging fruit like that, but I have a problem with my knees and I can't climb trees that easily anymore, so low-hanging fruit for the time being is what it will be. Okay, so what is the issue Kate Smurthwaite will delight us with this time? Haha, well, she's very much against equality. Because obviously, equality is wrong. Certain people have the right to feel offended more than other people. And it's all based on sexual deprivation or religious or physical or mental disabilities or whatever. No, not everyone is equal according to Kate Smurthwaite because and I can hear you guys think, surely that's not what she meant. Well, don't take it from me, take it from the horse's mouth.
Hello and welcome to a new feature, which I like to call Kate Tells You Where to Stick Your Obnoxious Opinion.
Or, more to the point, she tells you what and how to think.
And today's special guest is Chief Constable Sarah Thornton. She's the chair of the National Police Chiefs Council, and she's featured in the BBC article today with the title, "Focus on Violent Crime, Not Misogyny," says Police Chief.
Yeah, you might think that violent crime is a problem, but no, misogyny, that's the real problem. Misandry? No, that's not real at all. What are you on about?
Even at the very, very fundamental level, missing the point that misogyny is very often expressed in the form of violent crime.
Now, the funny thing is, here she actually agrees with the police officer. At the same time, though, she doesn't want to agree because, yeah, you need to focus on a violent crime. But misogyny is violent crime. Well, except for when it isn't. Now, isn't it?
You know, women being murdered every week, domestic violence, harassment, stalking, sexual assault, rape.
See, here's the thing. These things happen to men too. But we're not talking about men. We're talking about misogyny. Therefore, we're talking about female victims. Men get raped. Men get murdered far more than women get murdered. Domestic violence? Well, okay, women tend to get beaten more than men, but men get beaten too. So I think this is not a gendered problem. But if it's not a gendered problem, it won't fit her narrative, now will it?
I think we could file all of these things in that massively overlapping Venn diagram of hatred towards women and violent crime.
All animals are equal, but some animals are more equal. So when it happens to a woman, yeah, that's a violent crime. When it happens to a man, okay, it's not nice, but... See, the thing is, she doesn't even mention men as a victim. It's all about females as victim. But it gets better because this category of victim becomes bigger in a second, trust me.
Anyway, she says treating misogyny as a hate crime is a concern for some well-organised campaigning organisations. I think it's sort of a concern for women. And if the Me Too movement has sort of taught us anything, it's that it's a concern for basically all women, which would be 52% of the population. And, you know, if Brexit has taught us anything, it's that when 52% of the population are pissed off about something, we should immediately act, even if it means bringing the rest of the country to its knees. And frankly, in this case, I think we should.
To be honest, the doublethink abilities of Kate Smurthwaite never cease to amaze me. To begin with, 52% of the society is women. Okay, let's say that is true. Does that mean that 50% of the victims of violent crime are women? Well, we know that's not the case. So, okay, maybe misogyny isn't that big a deal. Maybe there are other things that will hurt our society more. And pretending that 52% of society, yea, all women, agree with you, is beyond ridiculous. Because most women do not agree with you. Hell, less than 20% of women consider themselves feminist. But the most important thing I take out of this one, she's against Brexit, even though that's a majority. but she's in favor of this because of a presumed majority. Now, why do I think this is very important? This is part of the left's movement, so to speak. This is what feminism has done. This is what Antifa does. This is what the Democrats are doing in America. It's the pretense of majority. That's, in all fairness, the Communistic Party, when communism started, called themselves the Bolsheviks, which roughly translate to the majority. Because when people hear something and they think the majority agrees with this, they will agree with this too. And this is what Kate Smurthwaite is doing now. No, 52% of society agrees with what I'm saying now. Yeah, no. And don't even get me started on the hypocrisy of the Me Too movement. I mean, honestly, women that raped men are claiming that they are being raped. Now, don't get me wrong, there are plenty of real victims in the Me Too movement, but they are being played by people like Arjanta Asia and Rose McGowan, and that people give credence to that movement is beyond my comprehension.
She says, we do not have the resources to do everything.
So let's take away the pretense crimes and let them focus on real crimes. What's wrong with that?
Now, firstly, as the chair of the National Police Chiefs Council, she should be turning to the government and saying, we need more resources, we need more support, we need specialist training, we need specialist units, we need help here.
And we need to stop making up crimes that aren't really crimes. I thought I'd add it to the whole list of things that needed to be done.
Because it's not really good enough, is it, for the police to go, we can't do everything. Well, what next? There's been 2 murders on your street this week. We only have the resources to deal with one. So you want to choose between you? Which of those bodies looks the most lifeless? It's kind of meaningless, isn't it? And there's someone down there who's been mugged, but, should have picked a week when nobody was getting murdered in this street.
Where in reality it's more like there are 2 people murdered and someone got wolf whistled. So, yeah, let's focus on the wolf whistling, because those murders, they're dead already. But that woman that got wolf whistled, that's a big problem.
It's like going to the hospital like, I think I'm having a heart attack. And they're like, this guy's sure. Like, we just have to help people that need helping.
The thing is, I agree with you. We need to help the people that need helping. People who claim to be offended are not amongst those people, whether you like it or not.
She says, I want us to solve more burglaries and bear down on violence before we make more records of incidents that are not crimes. And she says investigating gender-based hate crime cannot be a priority for the police, right? Which suggests to me that she doesn't understand what the law on hate incidents and hate crimes is. And that's quite a big omission, considering that she is a very, very senior police officer.
Yeah, well, she's in a particularly good situation where she can recognise the bullshit that the hate laws really are.
Right, so let's have a little recap, a little teaching. There is a law in the UK that says that something is a hate incident if the victim thinks that it was motivated, so if the victim or anyone else thinks that it was motivated by hostility or prejudice based on these things: disability, race, religion, transgender identity, or sexual orientation.
If the victim thinks the perpetrator is motivated by one of these reasons. Can you please tell me what a thought crime is?
And if you go to the police and report an incident that has taken place against you, such as name calling, offensive jokes, being bullied or intimidated, threats of violence, hoax phone calls, online abuse, all that kind of stuff. I mean, whatever you report to the police, they have to make a note of it. Even if you go round and go, oh, there's a bee in my room, they have to make a note of whatever you say, because if you report things to the police.
Don't you think it's funny that out of the whole list of things you named, only one of them is actually a crime? And you then basically say, well, if you go to the police and you have a problem with a bee in your bonnet, they have to report it. Don't you understand that this is the very thing that the female police officer is complaining about? You know, one of that 52% you were claiming to own? There are too many things now considered crimes that aren't crimes. When my kid comes home and he tells me that one of the kids at school called him names, I teach him how to deal with it. I do not go to the teacher. I do not go to the police. I can't believe you did not hear yourself right then, right there. Well, the police have to take you serious even if there's a bee in your bonnet. Honestly, don't you even think before you talk?
But then, if it's an incident that seems to be motivated by hatred or prejudice towards one of those protected characteristics, they tick a special box that says it's a hate incident and it's recorded as such.
Seems to be. Defined by whom?
Now, there's also a situation in which you're a victim of a crime such as assault, harassment, murder, sexual assault, fraud, burglary, hate mail, all that kind of stuff, criminal damage, and you believe that you've been targeted because you're a member of one of those groups. Now, if you're a victim of any of those crimes, the police should just investigate and prosecute anyway. But then when it comes to sentencing, if you're a member of one of those groups and you believe that the crime was motivated by that, then there's an allowance which says that they can give you a longer sentence. Basically, your sentencing can be increased. So what they're really saying is if somebody's going out there just trying to pick fights in the street, well, that's a crime and they should be prosecuted for it. If somebody's out there trying to pick fights in the street and they're targeting black people or gay people, etc., then they can be given a longer sentence because there's obviously like a hatred motivating that crime. We want to live in a society where those groups of people aren't specifically targeted.
And once again, Kate Smurthwaite's amazing doublethink skills brought us here. Crimes are bad. Everyone should be punished. Crimes are bad. But some crimes are worse. Now, is a rape worse than a murder? No, that's not the way she thinks. No. A rape against a protected class is worse than a rape against a non-protected class. Murder of someone of color is worse than murder of someone not of color. All animals are equal, but some animals are more equal. See, the thing is, no, you know what? This video has been going on for quite a while. There is something more to the original video. I'm not even going to bring it up here. Everything has been said. But I can't call this video the amazing doublethink skills of Kate Smurthwaite again. I mean, hell, I could nearly all the videos I made about her call this. I'm going to call this the end, though. Well, not the video, but the recording of this one. Like, share, and subscribe if you feel so inclined. I'm curious to hear what you think about this. Do we need a category hate crime in our legal justice? And is the female police officer, which belongs to the 52% that supports Kate Smurthwaite, according to Kate Smurthwaite, correct in saying, listen, let's focus on crimes and let's stop focusing on pretend crimes. Let's stop focusing on thought crimes. Let's stop focusing on hurt fifis. Anyway, like, share, and subscribe if you feel so inclined, and I hope to see you all next time.